Right, we're back at the stables at the lime kilns, and we're starting another little episode. And what's happening now is they're going to light up one of the replica of the kilns, and hopefully this gentleman's telling us about it, because they're going to light it up in a minute.
And the stone, the limestone, so that's all in there. And inside there, it's like a big upside down bottle. Once this gets going, the only way the air can go in, once we seal that off, is through the bottom there. And we use this modern electronic damper. So you put that over there, and the air is excluded, and there it goes in. So that's your control, because hopefully it's sealed everywhere else.
Where's your probe?
Oh, it's not ready yet, is it? It's there, it's all there, it's all there. I think it's working there. In the older days, they tell the temperature by looking at the colour of the flame. Now we've got a digital probe in there that tells us exactly what the temperature is. Have we got any plasters here?
No.
No.
No, not at all.
Come on in, that's good timing.
Go and do your trombone.
We've got the young archaeologist now, David.
Oh, right, okay.
Hi. You too, really good. He's all with you. Wow.
Count us in quickly.
Yes.
Put us on your tongue.
Wow, yes. What I was just explaining, does the rest of them come and listen all? Yeah.
Can you come up this way, guys? You come and meet Kiln.
It's nice to see so many of you. You've been before, some of you, haven't you?
Yes, 2 or 3, yeah.
Good. You must have enjoyed it because you've come back.
It's a good sign.
This is a model kiln or a demonstration kiln, but the big ones work just like this. And at the bottom, can you see that square hole where David's legs are? The air goes in there, and then up just where David is, they put newspaper in. But thank you, Dave. Oh, this is good, isn't it? Newspaper in, small sticks, big sticks, bigger sticks, and then on the top of that, smokeless fuel. Believe it or not, there's smokeless fuel in there, because that's all the wood that's burning. And then on top of that, there's the limestone, the actual rock. So this is called burning the lime, but it doesn't really burn because it doesn't catch fire. But it's like roasting it, and it's going to get to about 1,000 degrees C for it to work. And we can tell that by sticking David's finger in. He'll tell us if it's up to 1,000. So, oh, you're not ready yet? No, we've got a piece of metal and a probe. Can you see that yellow thing? Well, that tells you what the temperature's inside. Digital readout. They didn't have these in Victorian times. Not quite, so that's a modern bit. In the old days, they'd look at the colour and say, oh, the temperature is about right or not about right. So the rock in there is getting hotter and hotter, and it's going to turn the limestone into, we hope, quicklime. But that won't be till Wednesday. So it's not a quick process. I'll come along on Wednesday and empty it out, because it'll be cool by then, but it gets quite hot in there, and rake out the quicklime and put it in a bucket and take it home and put it in my garden, because no one else wants it. And so unless someone wants to put an order in, for some best quality magnesium limestone. So that's the kiln. So on the hill there are dozens and dozens of proper old-fashioned kilns which work on the same principles of having a fire in there, putting the limestone rock on top and cooking the limestone, if you like, at about 1,000 degrees to turn it into quicklime. And the process takes about 2 or 3 days. So whilst that's cooking, have you seen enough of the smoke? I want to watch that for a bit. It's a bit hypnotic, isn't it? We've got some here that we've prepared before. So this is some limestone rock that's been heated. Now you better come round that side. It's quite nasty, this side. It gets in the wrong eyes.
And that's one of my health and safety things that I was going to say to you. Remember I said I'd say a few things as we were going along. As we're going round, please don't pick anything up unless you've been told it's safe to pick something up, okay? Because there are nasty things that can affect you in some of the stones and when it's been burnt, so yeah.
Very good advice. Now, could everyone go that side of the bench? I'm being very cautious for the first bit, but you'll see why later on. This is the limestone rock as it's dug out of the ground, out of the quarry, and it's different sort of colours. There's a reddy one, that's because it's got iron in it, and there's a grey one, and there's some more whitey ones here, but nearly all of them have got some bits of fossils in. Can you see the outside of a shell there? Yeah? And this one, if you look at it later on, when I've finished, there's lots of tiny fossils in it that you'll find on the seashore today, but this was on the bottom of the sea not last week, not the week before, not the year before, but a couple of million years ago. This was living at the bottom of the sea, believe it or not, but that's what we're told. Now when you heat that in the kiln, it changes the rock so it gets a bit crumbly. Can you see the crumbly coming off there? This is some rock that was heated before, and this is sort of quicklime that's not cooked properly. But this quicklime has been cooked properly because this is from a kiln, from a limestone quarry in Derbyshire. Now this might give you a clue that it's quite dangerous stuff, so I'm going to use this face visor to protect my face, but it's the only one I've got. And if you stay back from that,
everybody take 2 steps back. 2 steps back.
Don't get too far away because I'll have to shout. So this is called quicklime, and when you add water to it, it changes into hydrated lime or slate lime, and it's quite interesting when you do that. So we went from limestone rock to quicklime, and we're now going to make hydrated lime, adding water.
Wait, patience.
Now, can you see that the rock's moving and getting bigger as it's too far away from it? Can you see it steaming a bit? It's taking up more space than there was before, would you agree? Yeah. That's called a leading question. Right? and because when you add water to it and it grows, I think that's why they called it quicklime. Because quick's an old word that means alive, to quicken the dead. And this will grow slowly to make quite a lot of slate lime. You hear it hissing then, because it gets hot. Can you see it growing from where you are? Before your very eyes. And in fact, it gets quite hot, a bit too hot for the plastic. Can you see that the plastic's collapsing a bit at the side?
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Yeah?
I think that's the end of that stuff.
That's it. I'll have to buy some more trifles on we eat trifles all the time, to certainly do this. I think you'll agree that's grown a bit, isn't it?
Wow.
Hide me. It's
So
enormous.
that's gone from limestone rock out of the ground to quicklime to slate lime, and it's this stuff that's useful because that was used to put on the fields to make the soil more productive, more fertile, and it's also used to make mortar before cement came in. The gable end there, there's the rocks in there when you're this stuff, but what's holding them together or holding them apart is this stuff mixed with lime. Quicklime, sorry, hydrated lime mixed with sand makes what was called mortar, lime mortar. And it's very much in fashion again now because lots of buildings are being renovated, and if you use cement, it's not very good for them. If you use lime mortar, it is good. Now, that quicklime is quite reactive, but I've got another sample here, which you might guess.
Now it gets interesting.
Why has he got that?
Why has he got that there?
It's like chemistry lessons at
Think
school.
about that question a little bit later on.
Maybe it's to take away the
This is some
smoke.
quicklime.
I think it's to protect us.
It might
Some
explode that
quicklime
hole.
from a quarry in Derbyshire where there's lots of lime going on, and this has been heated in a special modern furnace. So this is some modern quicklime, just the same chemical as that, but you'll see in a minute, a little bit different. So this is quicklime. I'm going to add the water to make what lime?
Slate.
Hydrated lime.
Hydrated, oh.
2 stars for that.
Mm.
Right, are you ready?
Yeah.
Water on the quicklime.
Can you guess why they didn't take quicklime on canal boats?
I can guess why, because that would happen.
The boats.
The whole boat going on.
One use of quicklime,
It's just the way it was made. It was made in more precisely.
and it's fresh. One use of quicklime is to dissolve bodies. And if a murderer had been hanged, they were buried in a pit of quicklime to rot their bodies down. But more recently, when there was foot and mouth, that horrible thing, where the cattle were to be slaughtered, the bodies were buried in quicklime to kill all the germs so it didn't go on to other animals. So it has got its uses, and if that rots bodies, when it gets in your face, in your eyes, you need much imagination to look at what will happen. And when the miners or the kiln men were working in the kiln, the dust and the powder that was in there was not just dust and powder like you get from a vacuum cleaner. It was the dust of quicklime. And they were working in that, and that dust got in their eyes, on the skin, in the lungs, and more or less dissolved them from the inside out. And that's why, if you worked in the kiln, you didn't live too long. And that's why there were lots of pubs in Ladderman, because they thought if you drank lots of beer, it would wash it out of your system. But once it's in your lungs, you can't wash it out of there because it's in there, and it's literally rotting them away. Now,
Is that why there were 7 pubs in it?
something like that, yes, yeah, but for quite a small village. As Joan said, that if that was in your boat and it got wet, that would happen, and this might happen to your boat. It would in fact make your boat catch fire. And that's why a lot of the limestone that came from the quarry here went straight out on the barges and was distributed to up and down the canal. So there's about 100 lime kilns between that end of the canal and where it finished in Newtown, because they would only change it from limestone into quicklime near where they needed it. Does that make sense? Because if they made it into quicklime here, they did a little bit but not a lot, and they had an accident or it started raining, then you've lost your boat, which if that's your way of livelihood, or perhaps your house as well where you live on, that's not very good. So you'll find lime kilns miles away from a quarry, but if you look around, there'll be a canal or possibly a railway line that took the limestone there. And there's a lovely one down at Welsh Pool by the Buttington roundabout, where they preserve a lime kiln, so the lime will go from here down to Welsh Pool. They would burn it down in Welsh Pool and then take it by horse and cart round the fields round about the Welsh Pool area. Does that make sense? Would you rather have limestone rock on your boat or quicklime?
Limestone rock.
Limestone rock. Not wet to be safe.
Although if you had big chunks, it would make the boat sink and not set fire.
You've got to think about the boat sinking as well, yes, not having too many rocks on, yes. Yes. In fact, the way they used to weigh the boats was to put all the rocks on and see how deep it was in the water. And then they'd charge by how far it was down, because that was so many tons of rock. But some naughty people would put all the rocks on one side, away from where the lines were, and they think they'd get away with it. But the people who were looking at the boats were a bit more wily and knew what they were doing, and made them spread the rocks out all over so they could charge them what was a fair price to put it through. But from these wharfs here, it's hard to think of these as a busy wharf, but at the end of this little pathway, there's the canals in a V shape, and that's where the boats would come in, and they'd load them with limestone rock, and they'd go down all the way to Newtown, or perhaps over into the West Midlands somewhere, and then where they've got a lime kiln, they would stop, unload this, and heat the limestone to make the, what's it called after it's been heated? Because it's like it's alive.
Quicklime.
Quicklime. And then when they added water to it, it made...
Hydrated.
Oh gosh. You're all excellent.
What's margarine like then?
Margaret lime. You've got to be over 18 to experience it. That's a different sort of lime. Right, whilst I've been rabbiting on, this has been burning. It must be going well, David. You're making lots of smoke. And the temperature at the end of this probe is, would you believe, 670 degrees, which is quite hot. So I think because it's heated up very quickly, I'm going to cut the air off that's going in, and it should slow this down. It says 690 now, but if we heat it up very quickly, the brickwork of the kiln will get really hot in the middle. It'll be cold on the outside. It's not the best thing for it. So there we are. Any questions? David will answer them.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
No, seriously, any questions or any points?